ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। Hari Om, salutations to all. We chant up to 18 verses, I think we have done. 19, sorry. We did 19. We concluded at that 19. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha अथ त्रयोदशोऽध्यायः अर्जुन उवाच प्रकृतिं पुरुषं चैव क्षेत्रं क्षेत्रज्ञमेव च एतत् वेदितुमिच्छामि ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं च केशव। श्रीभगवानुवाच इदं शरीरं कौन्तेय क्षेत्रमित्यभिधीयते एतद्यो वेत्ति तं प्राहुः क्षेत्रज्ञ इति तद्विदः। चापि मां विद्धि सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञयोर्ज्ञानं यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम तत्क्षेत्रं यच्च यादृक् च यद्विकारि यतश्च यत् स च यो यत्प्रभावश्च तत्समासेन मे शृणु। ऋषिभिर्बहुधा गीतं छन्दोभिर्विविधैः पृथक् विनिश्चितैः महाभूतान्यहङ्कारः बुद्धिरव्यक्तमेव च प्रियाणि दशैकं च पञ्चचेन्द्रियगोचराः इच्छा द्वेषः सुखं दुःखं सङ्घातश्चेतना धृतिः एतत् क्षेत्रं समासेन सविकारमुदाहृतम्। नित्वमदम्भित्वम् अहिंसा क्षान्तिरार्जवम् आचार्योपासनं शौचं स्थैर्यम् आत्मविनिग्रहः इन्द्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम् अनहङ्कार एव च जन्म मृत्युजरा व्याधि दुःखदोषानुदर्शनम् असक्तिरनभिष्वङ्गः पुत्रदारगृहादिषु समचित्तत्वम् इष्टानिष्टोपपत्तिषु मयि चानन्ययोगेन भक्तिरव्यभिचारिणी विविक्तदेशसेवित्वम् अरतिर्जनसंसदि अध्यात्मज्ञाननित्यत्वम् तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम् एतत् ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञानं यदतोऽन्यथा यत्तत् प्रवक्ष्यामि यज्ञात्वामृतमश्नुते अनादिमत् परं ब्रह्म न सत्तन्नासदुच्यते सर्वतः पाणिपादं तत् सर्वतोक्षिशिरोमुखं सर्वतः श्रुतिमल्लोके सर्वमावृत्य तिष्ठति सर्वेन्द्रियगुणाभासं सर्वेन्द्रियविवर्जितम् असक्तं सर्वभृच्चैव निर्गुणं गुणभोक्तृ च बहिरन्तश्च भूतानाम् अचरं चरमेव च सूक्ष्मत्वात् तदविज्ञेयं दूरस्थं चान्तिके च तत् अविभक्तं च भूतेषु विभक्तमिव च स्थितं भूतभर्तृ च तज्ज्ञेयं ग्रसिष्णुप्रभविष्णु च ज्योतिषामपि तज्ज्योतिः तमसः परमुच्यते ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं ज्ञानगम्यं सर्वस्य वेष्टितम् इति क्षेत्रं तथा ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं चोक्तं समासतः मद्भक्त एतद्विज्ञाय मद्भावायोपपद्यते. So iti in the 19th shloka, iti means a summary generally or a change of a topic. So two main topics have got covered. That is what the 19th verse says. Iti kshetram tatha jnanam. Now Bhagavan indicated kshetra and kshetrajna both in the first part of the 13th chapter. Then he said about jnanam and gneyam. But in this first line, in the 19th verse, kshetram is mentioned, but kshetrajnam is not mentioned. Why? Kshetra, kshetrajna, jnana and gneya. These are topics Bhagavan covered. But kshetrajna he didn't mention only. Why? I had mentioned last time. Because gneyam is kshetrajna. It includes kshetrajna. We have to understand that. That's all. And anyway, meter wise, it will not fit. That is another reason. But philosophically, we can explain that gneyam is only kshetrajnam. That oneness Bhagavan is indicating here. So, iti kshetram tatha jnanam gneyam uktam samasata. In brief, he has explained this. What is the purpose of that? Madbhakta etad vijnaya. My devotee, having known this, madbhavaya upapadyate, will come to be one with me. See, many of these verses, no, people conveniently ignore. Especially if one wants to pursue a particular school of philosophy, then one will do that. So here when Bhagavan is saying, if you know the kshetra and kshetrajna and gneya and jnana and gneya, you will come to be one with me. Madbhavaya upapadyate. And what is Bhagavan's bhava? Bhava here doesn't mean emotion. So people interpret like that. Madbhavaya upapadyate. So Bhagavan's love. They will feel the love of Bhagavan. Ab tod marod ke, if you want to fit some kind of an emotion into it and say ki ye bhakti hai, dekho, this is the dvaita bhav, advait to hai hi nahi yahan par. Ab you want to twist and turn, then you can do anything you want. But very clearly Bhagavan said, why the kshetra and kshetrajna? That distinction we have to do. Why jnanam and gneyam? My nature is Sachidananda. That is what is conveyed by Sachit, by this kshetra, kshetrajna and jnana and gneya. And that is what it means here. Madbhakta etad vijnaya is said here. Vijnaya means experience, not informative knowledge, not going somewhere, not sitting somewhere, not being close to Bhagavan, not being eternal das of Bhagavan. Madbhakta etad vijnaya. Vijnaya means you experience who is a kshetrajna. Because that is our nature. So, madbhakta etad vijnaya, What will happen if they know this? They will come to be one with Bhagavan. This is Advaita, this is Parabhakti. We are in the Jnana portion of Gita in that sense. But this also shows that the Bhakti and Jnana, there is no distinction at the highest level. Because Madbhakta etad vijnaya madbhavaya upapadyate. My devotee, having known this, will be one with me. So if somebody says the ultimate goal of devotion is only to be eternal servant of Bhagavan or be one part of Bhagavan, Amsha of Bhagavan, that has serious limitation. In the sense, they can be valid means to purify the mind, walk the path, surrender the ego. But ultimately it will be Advaita that one will have to come to. So that is where this second section of this chapter will conclude now. Now the third section, which is Prakriti and Purusha, that will start. So 20th shloka now. Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidhyanadi Ubhavapi Vikaranscha Gunanschaiva Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan. Next one also. Karya Karana Kartritve Hetu Prakriti Ruchyate Purusha Sukha Dukkhanam Bhoktritve Hetu Ruchyate. So he says here, Prakritim Purusham Chaiva. Now when we say the word Prakriti, what comes to your mind? In this context of Prakriti and Purusha, what comes to your mind? Nature. Okay. Sorry? World of objects. Okay. Desires. Okay. Anything else? Prakriti Purusha in this context. That is, so that we have to understand. World of objects is the effect. We may use the word Prakriti to refer to that also, but technically Prakriti is the womb of the whole world. Prakriti is the cause, ultimate cause. So, when the word Prakriti is used, it means the primordial matter. Not even primordial matter in that sense, that's an English translation, but that Maya Shakti of Brahman, because of which the Brahman appears as Ishvara and becomes the Prakriti is the source of the whole Srishti. So the whole world which we understood as Kshetra, the source of that Kshetra is Prakriti. Of course, the effect is nothing but cause in another form. So the whole world itself, we say Prakriti hai ye sab. If the mud is not different from the pot, so pot only appears, because mud only appears as the pot. So this mud is the source. You make pot, pitcher, cup, saucer, those are also mud only. But if we want to refer to what is the ultimate cause, then we won't say what is mud, we won't say all this is mud. No doubt all this is mud, but there is mud apart from this. That is the ultimate source. So, Prakriti word means that. The ultimate source of the whole universe. And what does it include? It includes what we saw just now, we chanted. Mahabhutani ahankara buddhir avyaktam evacha. all that. So 5 elements, ego, cosmic intelligence, all that it will include. Then it will also include 16 vikritis. What are they? So 10 senses, mind, and 5 objects of the senses, 16. These are called what? The evolutes of Prakriti. This 5 elements, 10 senses, all these, they are the evolutes. So we call them as 7 Prakriti and 16 Vikritis. Vikriti here doesn't mean bad. Vikriti here means a vikara, is a modification. Otherwise, in some places, Vikriti means which is a pervertedness. Vikrit. Here, Vikriti is only a modification. So, Prakriti is the source which then appears as these 5 elements: ego, intelligence, cosmic intelligence. Then we have the senses, the mind, and the 5 objects. Now, Purusha. So, Prakritim, that is the first word here in the shloka, Prakritim. Purusham. Purusham here means what? The enlivening factor which makes this Prakriti function. Prakriti by itself is Jadavastu. All these, the purpose of understanding the breakup and the evolutes of Prakriti is by itself the 5 elements: ego, cosmic intelligence, the 10 senses, mind, 5 senses, objects of senses. They all are what? Inert, Jadavastu. Purusha is that consciousness. Now, the point to understand here is what? That Kshetra is the world, Prakriti is the cause. Kshetrajna is the knower of this Kshetra, Purusha is that Kshetrajna. So, we find here that Prakritim Purusham Chaiva. Vidhi. Prakritim Vidhi, Purusham Chaiva Vidhi. What is the meaning of that? Prakriti and Purusha both are two different things. Understand that they are two different. Though it is said Vidhi Anadi Ubhavapi, they both are beginningless. But they both are different because they have exactly opposite properties. What is the property of Prakriti? Prakriti continuously modifies. Purusha does not modify. Prakriti is inert. Purusha is sentient. Prakriti is perishable. Purusha is imperishable. Prakriti is the cause of the universe. Purusha is not the cause of anything. Prakriti has cause and effect. Purusha is beyond cause and effect. So, though they are beginningless, both of them, they both have different nature. Prakriti and Purusha both have different nature. That's why the first line says, Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidhi Anadi Ubhavapi. We have to know one more difference, Kshetrajna and Kshetra. So the Kshetrajna is the individual consciousness aware of all the Kshetra, which is the BMI. Kshetrajna, one of the shlokas said, na? Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. That Kshetrajna in each one is the same. That Kshetrajna is this Purusha here. Otherwise, sometimes one thinks of Kshetrajna as the individual self and the Purusha as the substratum of the whole universe. Both are one and the same. And that's why, and even the word Purusha can mean Kshetrajna. How? Purnatvat Purusha, that which is full, is infinite, is Purusha. And where is it found? Puraushete, in the heart of each individual. So is Purusha. So now, Prakriti and Purusha, Vidhi Anadi Ubhavapi, both are beginningless. Anadi in this context, one meaning of Anadi is beginningless. Adi Vidyate na iti Anadi. But it also means eternal. So eternal, if both are eternal means what? The eternal nature of both is different again. Why? Because Purusha is eternal in the sense there is no modification in the Purusha. Purusha does not change. The world, when it is not there, Purusha is. When it is there, Purusha is. When it will not be there also, Purusha is. But Prakriti is not eternal like that. Prakriti is the power of Purusha. It remains in the Purusha as though. And when the world manifests, then it will appear. It is the cause of the world to manifest. It stays. Again it goes back into Purusha. The substratum is Purusha. And so that's why he says Vidhi Ubhavapi. Know both of them. If they are one and the same, then you don't have to know both of them. You know one, you know the other. But they both are different. So you have to know the difference between both. Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidhi Anadi Ubhavapi. Then he says Vikaranscha Gunanschaiva. So vikaras are there in Prakriti. Before I go to second line. Now this Prakriti and Purusha, we have to know the whole Srishti comes only because of these two factors. Without any one factor, Srishti will not happen. If there is only Prakriti, it will be Jadavastu. There is no Srishti possible. If there is only Purusha, it is non-dual. There is no Srishti happening in that. There is no change in that. If I am seeing Srishti, it is the combination of what? Purusha and Prakriti. Like how Gurudev used to give the example, if I am seeing the light, then it is a combination of the bulb and the electricity. Either one of them, light will not come. Both of them are required. And in a particular way. Bulb has to enliven, the electricity has to enliven the bulb. Then it will pass through that filament, then the light will come. Now this Purusha and Prakriti is what is symbolized through Shiva and Shakti. But in that one confusion happens. What? People think that Prakriti means female, Purusha means male. Shiva means male, Shakti means female. Big confusion then. When it is said here, Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidhi Anadi Ubhavapi, both these are eternal. They are not same. They are eternal, but as we saw, the nature of their eternal is different. Their nature by itself also is different. It will not be the same. Purusha we saw is changeless, does not have any duality, imperishable. Prakriti is the exact opposite. So they are different in nature. But both have to come together, then only Srishti will happen. And we revere both. See, this Prakriti Purusha concept has a lot of implication. We have to understand very clearly. We worship Prakriti also, but mainly we worship Prakriti so that through that Prakriti we will realize Purusha, which is our true self. That's our purpose. We don't disrespect Prakriti or we don't say ki Prakriti is the ultimate, which is what nowadays people are doing. What are they doing? I don't believe in God, I believe in nature. Arre wah, bahut intelligent hai. You don't believe in God, you believe in nature. It's like saying, I don't believe in the electricity, I believe in the bulb. Wah, bahut badhiya. बल्ब में बिलीव करो तो लाइट दिखता है. अच्छा, लाइट कहाँ से आया भाई? Obviously, without bulb, light will not be there, but electricity is coming and delivering that, then only light is possible. No, I don't believe in God, I believe in nature. Then what is nature? Trees, mountain, rivers, birds, animals, hills. Are, that is perishable, jada vastu. The enlivening factor of this creation is God. So in Sanatan Dharma, when we worship every single thing in form of Prakriti, we say Ganga Maya, Yamuna Maya, we say Indra Devata, we say Agni Devata, Vana Devata, Vayu Devata. Now people make fun saying, "Arey ye pagal log hai." No, that is not primitive. That is to say that we worship the sentient through the inert, because there is nothing called inert actually. Highest level is there is nothing called inert. Everything is sentiency only. We are identified with this BMI right now and we are thinking this is sentient to tell us one Viveka is done of Jada and Chetan. But otherwise, where is Jadata? There is no Jadata at all. There is only Chaitanya appearing everywhere. So the Vivek of Purusha and Prakriti is to know that the whole Srishti comes because of Purusha and Prakriti. And in that, Prakriti does not mean female. In fact, the genders are evolutes of Prakriti. What we just saw, no? The senses and the mind and 5 elements. The body is an evolute of Prakriti. Prakriti is the cause of all. So how will Prakriti be woman? You want to personify it for a particular purpose, ki Shiva and Shakti, male and female, that's a different matter. But Prakriti is not at all limited by gender. And nor is Purusha limited by gender. They both represent this. That's why the first line is important. Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidhi Anadi Ubhavapi. So one aspect is to know that we worship the eternal through the ephemeral. 2, we respect both Prakriti and Purusha, not only one. Those who respect only the Purusha, transcendental, no, that what they call transcendental, they don't respect the creation. They respect only the so-called creator and who is unmanifest, who is formless, nameless, attributeless, and you try to make anything of that formless, nameless, attributeless, finished. You will be killed only. That is not our Sanatan. We worship both the creator and the created, both. And by creator I mean not only creator as Ishvara, means Brahman, infinite consciousness, that is Purusha. So Purusha and Prakriti, 2 points. One is that we respect both, we worship both. Second, creation cannot happen without either, so both have their due importance. Third, why are we worshipping the ephemeral? Because finally we want to reach the eternal, because that eternal only is the truth. Ephemeral doesn't exist only. So this section now is to, fourth point is, the section now is to separate the Purusha and Prakriti in terms of our identification. We have forgotten our nature as Purusha and we are identified with the Prakriti and we are thinking that is me. So this whole Viveka is only to tell, ki bhai, you are not this, you are that Purusha. Wake up. So that's why now he says, Vikaranscha Gunanschaiva. So these Vikaras, 7 Vikaras were said just now. Ichha, Dvesha, Sukham, Dukkham, Sanghatas, Chetana, Dhriti. These are 7 Vikaras. Of what? Prakriti. Ichha, Dvesha, Sukham, Dukkham. That refers to the mind, right? Sanghata is the body. And Chetana, there refers to the Prana Shakti. Chetana and Dhriti, again mind. So these are Vikaras. Vikaranscha, and they are evolutes of Prakriti. Gunanschaiva. Gunas are 3 gunas. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. They are also appearance of Prakriti. Nature of Prakriti we can call. Vikaranscha Gunanschaiva Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan. So these gunas what are said here, no? They are not the guna which is the nature of Prakriti in that sense. They are the expressions of those gunas. See, we never know the guna actually. It is impossible to know what is Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, Tamo Guna. Why? Because the sattva, rajas, tamas, they are the nature of Prakriti itself. If you remember Tattva Bodh, there's a book called Tattva Bodh, that you remember, no? Tattva Bodh में क्या लिखा है वो we don't remember, Swami ji. You may keep telling 100 times study Tattva Bodh, and we study also, but we don't remember what is in the Tattva Bodh. In that, what is given about Maya, when it is said about Maya, Brahmashraya Sattva Rajas Tamo Gunatmika Maya Asti. So the nature of Maya, Prakriti, is Sattva Rajas Tamo Guna. So we never know the Guna actually what it is. What we see in the Srishti is only the appearance of the three Gunas, expression of three Gunas. So we infer, acha, the principle of laziness, lethargy, inertia, dullness, procrastination, ignorance, carelessness, heedlessness, acha, all this is the effect. That means the cause is Tamoguna. We are only inferring. We are not knowing the Guna. Why we cannot know the Guna? Because the equipment with which we know, that itself is an evolute of Prakriti, which is our mind. That mind is made up of sattvic aspect of the Mana Buddhi Chitta Ahankar, correct? 1 minute. The mind is made up of what? Sattvic aspect of Man Buddhi Chitta Ahankar, right? Are what? Yes. Sattvic aspect of Maya? No. Sattvic aspect of what? Exactly. Finally, Aya. Sattvic aspect of the 5 elements. So, from the Prakriti, 5 elements manifest in their Tanmatra. They will have Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. From the collective sattvic aspect of the 5 elements has manifested our mind. So it is already a product of Prakritis, Gunas. How will they know the ultimate source? Not possible only to know. So we only know what is the expression of the Gunas, the appearance of the Gunas in the world. So if there is lot of dynamism, movement, activity, then we infer that, oh, this is Rajoguna. And if there is peace, knowledge, balance, harmony, contemplativeness, all that, then we infer what? Oh, this is Sattva Guna. So when he says here that Vikaranscha Gunanchaiva Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan, the Guna word here means expressions of those 3 Gunas, not the nature of the Prakriti as Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Vikaranscha Gunanchaiva Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan. They are born from Prakriti. Which means what? Every single thing which is a Vikara, which is a product of the 3 Gunas, is Prakriti, it is not me. That's the first reason why he said. So in the first line when he said you should know both Prakriti and Purusha, the distinction he made clear. He will explain further also, but in brief he has already said Vidhi Ubhav. Ubhav means 2. You should know both these very clearly. And when you know both these, then why should I know both? Because you understand that whatever is modifying, Vikriti, Vikara, Guna, all that is in the realm of Prakriti. So that is verse number 20. Now he says, Karya Karana Kartritve. Karya means what? Effect. Literally the word Karya means effect. So here what is the effect? Here the effect refers to the 5 elements, and with those 5 elements the 5 objects which are made. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Meaning this world. Now please remember, even the Karana, what is the next word? Karana. Karana means equipment. Equipment also is an effect only of Prakriti. But in this context, the separation has been done because with the equipment I am experiencing the sense objects. So the Karana word includes what? It includes mind, intellect, ego, the 10 senses of action and knowledge, and along with that, 13. These 13 are the karana. If you add memory, 14. Mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar, and then 5 senses of action, 5 senses of knowledge. This is our equipment. This is the karana. Oh, Swamiji, where did body go? In that 5 element, the body came. And anyway, body gets implied. So you want to think body also is karana, you can put that also. So 15 item, they become the karana, with which the world of 5 elements, the sense objects, everything is experienced. So he says, karya karana kartritve hetuhu prakriti ruchyate. The cause of these is what? Prakriti. They are not coming from Purusha. Purusha is changeless. In Purusha there will be no duality. They come from where? If at all you are seeing the world, if at all we are identified with the mind, intellect, memory, egos, 10 senses, then they are coming from where? From Prakriti they are coming. They are evolutes of Prakriti. So, karya karana kartritve hetu prakriti ruchyate. But by itself, this is jada vastu. All these are inert. It is like saying the bulb, the tube light, the fan, that by itself is not able to function. Then how is it functioning? It is functioning because Purushaha Sukha Dukkhanam Bhoktritve Hetu Ruchyate. There is Purusha who has identified with this, meaning the consciousness enlivening this is identifying with this and appearing as the enjoyer. Who is the enjoyer? Is this Purusha. Purusha Sukha Dukkhanam Bhoktritve Hetu Ruchyate. Please remember, this Purusha is the embodied self now, the Jiva. Because who is experiencing ups and downs? Is that consciousness identified with the BMI which has become the PFT. That PFT is the Bhokta. It is not that Om by itself. Om by itself is beyond Karta Bhav, beyond Bhokta Bhav. That Om identified with the BMI, that has become the PFT. The body, mind, intellect, one who identifies with that embodied self. That is the Purusha, who is the Karta and Bhokta, who is not other than that Om only. That we should remember, that Om and that PFT is not different. So that Purusha, without any conditioning, identifying with the Prakriti, with the BMI, then becomes enjoyer. By itself, Purusha is not an enjoyer. Because people will they misunderstand this and then they quote, see, the Purusha is an enjoyer. No, Purusha is not enjoyer. Purusha is appearing as the enjoyer. A father who is playing the role of a, let us say, a bear. He's to entertain the child. Now he's acting like a bear, walking on the floor, making some sound. Now does it mean father has become the bear? No, father is playing the role of a bear. But he is different, he is not that. Same way, Purusha is infinite conscious. Now he has not become the enjoyer. Because if that Purusha becomes enjoyer, then everything is gone, destroyed, finished. Because it's Karta, Bhokta, Prakriti is perishable. Then to everything is perishable. So, Purusha Sukha Dukkhanam Bhoktritve Hetu Ruchyate. Because of this identification, this Purusha has come to this. And which is what we are trying to separate. Ki bhai, this Bhokta in you, the Karta in you, is because of identification with the Prakriti. It is like this, what we say in Vedanta, the Anyonya Adhyasa happens. This iron ball and the fire. For a long time, if you put the iron ball into the fire, then what will happen? Ayappindavat, that is called. Ayappinda means that iron ball. That Ayappinda, if you put in the fire, then by itself the iron ball is what? It is dark, heavy, round. And fire is bright. It doesn't have a specific form. And hot. Now both you bring together. Now what will happen? After some time it will appear as though fire has taken the shape of the iron ball. So fire which did not have a shape now becomes round. Iron which did not have any brightness, now it appears very bright. Both have done what? Superimposed each other's qualities on the each one's quality on the other. But has the fire become round? No. Has the iron ball actually become bright? No. Because if you leave it as it is, then it will come back to normal. Of course, the example has limitations. Say if you leave it as it is, iron ball to ban gaya thanda and round and heavy. Fire ko kya hua? Fire didn't go back to its shape. That is limitation of example. So this is called mutual superimposition, where the one appears affected by the other, but actually nothing has happened. The rope is appearing as the snake. Has the rope actually become like the snake? No. It's only superimposition. So this Prakriti and Purusha coming together also is like that. Purusha appears as though has become the Jiva. It has not become the Jiva. So that's the meaning here. Karya Karana Kartritve Hetu Prakriti Richyate. Purusha Sukha Dukkhanam Bhoktritve Hetu Ruchyate. Now, this is the basic principle that has to be understood. Now, the same thing will get elaborated now. Purusha Prakristho hi Bhunkte Prakriti Jan Gunan Karanam Guna Sangosya Sadasadyo Nijanmasu. So now he says, Purushaha Prakristho hi. Purusha seated in the Prakriti, Bhunkte Prakriti Jan Gunan, enjoys what? All the modes of Prakriti, Gunan, Prakriti Jan Gunan, all the modes born of Prakriti. Which means what? Purusha, who by itself is infinite, beyond duality, modification less, identified with the Prakriti, becomes the enjoyer. Bhunkte Prakriti Jan Gunan. In this context here, Prakrististha word also means Sharirastha, meaning identified with this one individuality, one body, then becomes the individuality. Purusha Prakristho hi. Bhunkte. The Karta and the Bhokta, both is that Purusha. So, why again this is said? Because our whole problem is we have identified with the wrong. And now those attributes are my attributes. If anything is happening to the car, it is not happening to me. I am the one who is sitting in the car and traveling. So we can say, Purushaha karastho hi bhunkte yatra, whatever, anubhavan. The travel experience, the person sitting in the car is enjoying. But who is actually doing it all? The car is, driver is there, the car is being run. Limitation of example, no doubt. But I am not driving, I am not doing anything, I am only sitting. The enlivener is only the Purusha. In each body, Kshetra, the enlivener is Purusha. But that one doesn't know. One is thinking, I am this. What we have done is ego, ahankar, which is a part of Prakriti, We are saying, I am that. And Purusha, who is there, we have forgotten that. And then that ego is denying that Purusha only. And that's why Gurudev is to call that ego as an imposter. If somebody comes into your house and pushes you out of your house and then says, this is my house, that is what the ego has done. As though the self is gone, ego has assumed this identity. Now ego is saying, which God? What God? Acha? This came from where? This BMI only came from God. That entity who is inside, who is asking that question also is God only, but has forgotten. Now identified with one, this thing, it is saying, which God, what God, I am only everything. Very interesting it is. Hiranyakashipu, when he was doing so many attempts to kill his son, and nobody is able to finally kill him, so he only decides, now I will only kill him. So he calls him and then he is asking him, what is the power that you have? That no matter what I am doing, you are not getting killed. And you know what he replied? He said, that power which is in me is the power of Bhagavan Vishnu, and that is the same power inside you also. Are there two sources of power? That all power belongs to Hari. That power is in you also. Same power it is. That he can't believe only, Hiranyakashipu. He is thinking Vishnu is separate. Vishnu is the cause of my brother's death. I want to kill this Vishnu. And anybody who is worshipping this Vishnu, I will destroy them. I will destroy his temples. I will destroy, all the yajna, yaga, everything. But who is that? What is that power by which he is doing all this? That is Vishnu's power only. Same way here. Purusha prakriti sthohi bhungte prakriti jan gunan. Who is the enjoyer in this is Purusha only. Prakriti by itself is jada vastu. So, first line is that. Purusha prakristho hi bhungte prakriti jan ganan. So, prakritistha here means sharirastha. Then, karanam guna sangosya. Why is that Purusha going through all this? Because it got identified with the three gunas, which are nature of Prakriti. But that Purusha has got identified with that now. And then because of that, what is the result? Sadasad yoni janmasu. Now because of this identification with the three gunas, then what has happened? Sangha, na? Guna sangha means attachment. This Purusha has got attached to the three gunas. Now this Purusha is stuck in the cycle of birth and death. Sadasad yoni janmasu. Sad asat does not mean real and unreal here. Sat asat here means what? Good and evil. Now, good and evil, now somebody says, what is this good birth and evil birth? Evil birth kya hota hai, Swami? Evil not in that sense. Suppose we think evil, then we think of Rakshasa, Bhuta, Preta, Pishacha, like that only we think. But what is the meaning of that evil birth here? It means the lower births, lower than human being. Why? Because Vivek Shakti is not there. Some people think it's better to be not human. One chick class long back when I was a brahmachari, one girl came and she was very disturbed. So she came and she said, because that day we started with something about the glory of human life. She started. What is the glory of being a human? Being an animal is better. At least they are not confused like us. At least they don't go through all the stress and strain and worry. At least they are, happy to live their own existence. Usko support karne ke liye somebody else also joined. Correct. Not only that, if you become a dog of a rich man, then you will have more luxuries than an ordinary human being. So it is better to be a dog. क्लास हमारा हम चिक्का क्लास करते हैं to make people realize God, and people are thinking it is better to be a dog. I mean, anybody, I mean, every jiva that we have respect for, we don't have a problem. But दिमाग कैसा सोचता है कि ये इनको choice ही नहीं ना स्वामी जी. Nature has planned, solid logic she is giving. Swami ji, nature has planned everything for them. They don't have a problem at all. They know what to eat, what not to eat. They have limited choices. वो जाके खाते हैं, जो नहीं खाना है नहीं खाते हैं. They know when to sleep, where to sleep, who is a friend, who is a foe. Their mating season is regulated, and everything is controlled. Nature has done everything. अरे हमको परेशान कर दिए. Human being को बुद्धि देके, choice देके. It is better to be born as an animal. And the one logic that she put was the superb logic. She said, देखो, ओनली मनुष्य योनि इस कर्म योनि, कर्म बंधन बनता है मनुष्य योनि में. बने जाओ, एनिमल ही बने रहो, क्या प्रॉब्लम है? बिकॉज दे आर भोग योनि ओनली. सो कर्म का बंधन ही नहीं है. जितना भोग करना है करो, लेकिन एक कर्म का बंधन नहीं होगा. एनिमल योनि में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. मनुष्य योनि में आ जाओ, फंस गए हो. Every single karma you are doing is creating new karma. See that? स्वामी जी, इतना वेदांत हमने पढ़ा, बेकार में बन जाता है एनिमल. चलो आज से जितना पाप कर्म कर सकते हैं करो. क्यों? तब जाके एक भोग योनि मिल जाएगी, विच इज एनिमल. अब वापरो ने, use the mic so that it will come in the.
Hello.
Yeah.
So wherein the Gurudev is talking about the same subject. So he gives an example of a pig over there where he says, become a pig. Every morning you have food to eat, fresh food to eat.
Correct.
You can sleep at the best of the places, absolutely soft places. So that is exactly what we are talking today, Swamiji. That same topic was.
Finally, what did he say? Conclusion क्या था उसमें? पिग रहे कि नहीं रहे?
So at the end, Gurudev said that you have to evolve, not go down.
Correct.
That was the essence of that.
Correct. So I didn't convince. I gave my logic. About that lady, she still held on to her opinion. That is her thinking now. So I gave one simple point only. I said, see, you and I think that everything is very hunky-dory in their life. They also have their own challenges. First and foremost, they can't live fearlessly. Every single jiva is affected by fear. Survival of the fittest, when it is a law, you just look at the animal's life. You look at any bird, any sparrow, any pigeon, kitna bichare ko, how much fear is there in their mind that pigeon keeps laying the eggs and the crow comes and keeps taking it away. Bichara pigeon has to go hide somewhere and give lay the eggs. So what is the survival rate? You look at even all the Discovery Channel and all that. Even the strongest of the creatures, if we say lion is the king of jungle, उसको तो पता ही नहीं कि वो जंगल का राजा है. हम लोग ने उसको राजा बनाया हुआ है. The lion doesn't know it is a king. Have you looked at the lion drinking water? बेचारा कैसा पानी पीता है. पीते पीते ऐसा ऐसा देख रहा है कि कोई आके मुझे मार नहीं दे. और वो पानी भी ऐसा पी रहा है कि भाई क्रोकोडाइल ना आ जाए उसमें से. सीधा नहीं तो क्रोकोडाइल आके उसको खा लेगा. Look at their life. I said, what a miserable state of life it is. You and I think, oh, so nice and so nice. I look at their situation. Every single moment they are in fear. That is one. Two, each one has to hunt for their food or figure out their food. ऐसा नहीं है कि even if you become a dog of a rich man, ठीक है, you are well taken care of. But what the dog has to go through, it is not that the dog is not going to go through all the other challenges. Some challenges it will not go through, but its own other challenges the dog will also go through. One. The second point. Third point, they have no ability to change their emotional state. They, first of all, they don't recognize their emotional state, and they have no ability to change that emotional state. It will change only by nature if it has to change. Now, if simple again that example of the dog only, because that girl was stuck on the dog. So we said, that they are so loving creatures, and sometimes the owner of the house has gone away for so many days. The dog feels so sad, but it is not able to do anything to come out of it by itself. So emotional awareness is not there. Ability to change, regulate emotions is also not there, and ability to change it also is not there. Buddhi level self-awareness is not at all there. So the desire to improve is not there. The purpose of the purpose of their existence is also not known to them. Yes, by their existence, nature is, there is an impact of their existence in the setting, in the whole nature. So if you remove one species, a lot of other challenges will start, because that's how the nature has created itself as interdependent. But are they aware? They don't have. So finally, what is their life governed by? Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya and Maithuna. Only these four. That's all. Eating, sleeping, fear and reproduction. That is all that their life is. Full life is only that much. Imagine like a tortoise one is. 200 years one is living. Doing what? Only this much. What is the use? And the most important part is what? ये सब किसको पता है? ह्यूमन को ही पता है ना, एनिमल को तो पता ही नहीं. A human being who is sitting and thinking that this life is better or that life is better, you are able to do this viveka because you are a human. क्या तो लॉजिक लगाते हैं लोग. I don't know why people don't think also. And मुक्ति कैसे मिलेगी फिर? Once I come to human life and I understand that what I am Brahman, infinite consciousness, and I have forgotten that, and I am living like this. In 84 lakh species, only one yoni can get you the exit. And in that one yoni also, only one path of Advaita Vedanta, of Jivan Mukti. Baki other parts will lead you to some level of Mukti, but the Jivan Mukti you want or Krama Mukti you want is only through Advaita Vedanta one will get. अब इतना पार कर करके हम आए अद्वैत वेदांत तक, अब हम सोच रहे हैं कि भाई मैं एनिमल होता. सोचो. Because of difficulty in grasping, no problem, then go to bhakti marg na, surrender to Bhagwan, saying ki I have come to you, bhaj govindam, govindam bhaja mudhamate. Chalo, utna karo. Chant karo, mantra jap karo. Kitne paths to kitne sare hain. So, whole point is this, कि sadasad yoni janmasu, one will be born, that this infinite consciousness identified with the Prakriti is doing what? Now it is going up and down in births, higher births, lower births. That which is birthless has got stuck in the cycle of birth and death. That which is imperishable is appearing as perishable now. That which is the akarta abhokta is become the karta and bhokta. That is the power of this Maya. That's why that Maya Panchakam Shankaracharya ji wrote. In that he says, Aghatita Ghatna Patiyasi Maya. His Maya is an expert. Patiyasi means expert. In doing what? That which is impossible, it will make it possible. How can the imperishable become perishable? Without actually becoming perishable. So it's only appearance happening. Aghatita Ghatna Patiyasi Maya. So that is the whole point here. Karanam guna sangosya. Now identified with this birth and death, identified with these gunas, now this Purusha is going through cycles of birth and death. not 1, 2, how many? 84 lakh species, not 84 lakh Janma also. All because of what? One mistake. Identifying with the Prakriti and thinking of itself as the Karta and Bhokta. Finished. If we reflect more on this, no, all our sense of self-importance that we want and recognition that we want, praise that we want, appreciation that we want, all will go. Why? Because that is our source of bondage. That is only causing the sadasad yoni janmasu. But after coming to spiritual life also one wants recognition. I am having this many ashrams below me. This person is having only that many. Yet that person was given more recognition and I was given respect. अरे भाई फंसे हुए हो कहाँ पे? सदसद योनि जन्मसु. We are to recognize we are birthless. But then we are doing aram se. Cycle of birth and death only one is getting stuck into. So the more one reflects, this will be to create vairagya from the Prakriti and to identify more with Purusha. Now, forgetting one's true nature, what this Prakriti has done to this Purusha, in that sense, that false identification, what has it led to? See the 23rd one. Upadrashtanumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwaraha paramatmeti chapyuktaha Dehesmin purusha paraha. See, dehe asmin purushaha. In this body, the purusha is paraha, is the supreme consciousness only. But now it has forgotten that. Now what it has become? Upadrashta. It is called as a witness. Now please don't think this word Upadrashta means how we have, Pradhan Mantri is Prime Minister. Upapradhan Mantri, Deputy Prime Minister. Don't think like that. Drashta, witness. Upadrashta, Deputy Witness. ऐसा literal translation नहीं करना उसका. What it has become? Deputy Witness. अरे ये Deputy Witness कहाँ से आया? I am saying because in the Gita, in the 6th chapter it comes, na, that what is the one line? Jnanibhyopi madhodikaha karmebhyaschaadhiko yogi tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. So this tasmad yogi bhavarjuna, hence be a yogi Arjun. So that is a very nice instruction Bhagavan gave, to be a yogi. So one Mahatma ji, he said, good, nice interpretation that is, but just he said, because the whole lecture was in Hindi. So he said, गीता में भगवान ने कहा तस्माद योगी भवार्जुना, हे अर्जुन योगी बनो, लेकिन योगी अगर आपको बनना है तो उसके लिए पहले आपको उपयोगी बनना पड़ेगा. हाँ. Meaning you start serving people. Means karma yoga if you do, then you will become ready for this dhyan, nididhyasan. Very nicely said. योगी बनना है तो उपयोगी बनो. Like that. द्रष्टा बनना है तो पहले उपद्रष्टा बनो. Drashta and upadrashta here mean the same. Witness only it means. So that infinite consciousness identified with the body has now become witness. See, that witness also is being said here at one level. When a person will do sadhana, then one will apply this, ki I am the witness, I am not this BMI. Otherwise, what has that Purusha become? Bharta. That Purusha has also become what? The nourisher of this body. पूरा काम कर रहे हैं किसके लिए? भरता. or bhokta. Bharta, one who nourishes this body, and bhokta is going through the pleasures and pains, has become the enjoyer, provider and enjoyer, meaning fully identified with the Prakriti, has forgotten its own existence, that I am the Purusha Paraha, forgotten completely. Upadrashta, Anumanta, Anumanta I did not give, I didn't explain. So Anumanta means what? Who gives the consent? So what is the meaning of that Anumanta? We do, na? Without my permission, how did you go out? Without my permission, why did you do this? That. At a functional level, yes, we require that certain type of protocol, no doubt. But ahankar comes, no? Upadrashta, Anumanta, Bharta, Nourisher, Bhokta, Enjoyer. See, the point of all this also is, it is the bhav, no? So the person is living with that bhav of bhoktritva. And the purpose of life becomes bhoktritva. Just imagine. What is the purpose of life? So many people ask, na? What is the purpose of life? Is to realize I am the true nature which is beyond karta and bhokta. But whole life is going in becoming being a bhokta only. All different types of bhoga I want. Again, I am saying nothing wrong in enjoying, but you don't become the enjoyer. You enjoy without becoming the enjoyer. That's what Upanishad is saying. Meaning that bhavana that I am Mr. So and so who is the enjoyer, and only when I enjoy this, then I will be happy. That is an illusion. That is wrong. That has to be dropped. But today one is identified with that. So he is saying here, Upadrashta, Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwaraha. Now this Maheshwara here does not mean Shivji. This Maheshwara here does not mean Supreme Lord. What is the meaning of this Maheshwara here? So the Maheshwara here is one who identifies with this and thinks, I am the lord of this body, I am the lord of this family, I am the lord of this building. Matlab identified with the finite, perishable things, assumes a egoistic identity. Ishvara in the sense is what? Creator, sustainer and destroyer, right? So Maheshwara means, Swamiji, I came into this city with only 1 rupee and I have created this empire. So you are the Maheshwara of that empire. That Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwara. So Maheshwara indicates terrific Karta Bhav, and Bhokta Bhav is indicated by this word Bhokta, Bharta and Bhokta. So Upadrashta, Anumanta cha, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwara. This Jiva who is there, who is actually he? Paramatma iti. It is a Paramatma only. But simply identifying with the Prakriti. Paramatma iti chapyuktaha. And that Paramatma is the same in all the bodies. That one has forgotten. How interesting that is, This is the Maya. Paramatma is same in all. Ego is different in all. But instead of seeing that oneness, one is creating ego fights. I am lesser ego than that person, so I feel jealous. And I am bigger ego than some other person who has less, so I feel vanity. In that battle only life is gone. So what he is saying here, Paramatma iti chapyuktaha. That which is the Paramatma, forgotten all this, and Dehesmin, identified with his one Deha, thinking of oneself as a Jiva. But what is the meaning of this? Paramatma iti chapyuktaha dehe asmin purushaha paraha. Asmin dehe purusha. This purusha in this deha is actually untainted even now with all this karta, bhokta, upadrashta, anumanta, with all these identities that it has taken. It is still untainted. Why? Because it's only superimposition. No matter how much scenes are projected on the screen, what happens? The scene, scenes don't do anything to the screen. It is still white only. So even though it is appearing as though we have devolved to become this, we have never devolved to become this. It's only a projection, which is why one can wake up. My teacher used to say very nicely, he said, there are no steps to walk up to the truth. You can only wake up to the truth. You wake up, bas. Ud jao. There may be steps what Vedanta says, Bhakti says, Yoga says. You can use those steps to gain a certain level of clarity. But finally it is waking up only, because another master said, you are not lost in a dream. You are only dreaming that you are lost. So in the previous shloka when it is said, na, Sadasadyoni Janmasu, identified with the Prakriti, one is taking so many lives. But when one comes to human life, then through study of Vedanta, one will realize that this thing, whole thing is a projection only. At any moment I can drop and get up. It is up to me. So if a person understands that, we don't have to become Brahman by any effort. We are already Brahman. Then what effort it is to be put? Only to drop the false notions and false identification. That's all. Effort is required at the moment, because of effort only, because of karma bandhan, because of false identification, we are stuck right now. So even though we are told I am Brahman, right now the experience is not there. So effort is only to remove those blocks to that experience. Then it is not going to create Brahman. It is not going to produce anything. Which is why in Bhakti Shastra it is said, Bhakta does not depend on even their own sadhana. Bhakta depends only on Bhagwan. That person is called Ananya Bhakta, because Bhagwan is not a product of my sadhana. Then why I am doing sadhana? Remove all the obstacles and invoke grace of Bhagwan. Then you will realize that by itself. So today we will stop. Tomorrow also we will do. So we thank all the Mukhya Yajmans. 1 minute. Tarana ji, Parag Wagh, Vandana ji, Bharat ji, Kalpana ji and Deepika ji. Aarti Yajmans for all the sessions, Hemant Kumar ji, Jyotsna ji, Chitra ji, Ajay Kasotia ji, Rajan ji, Ajay Marchand ji, Swati ji, Nalini ji, Jayashri ji, Nandita ji, Vaishali ji, Vijaya ji, Deepti ji and Manjari ji. Today's Dainik Yajman is Bala Subramanyam ji and Hemanti Vadhava ji. And today's Aarti Yajman is Bharati Marfatia ji. So we invoke Bhagwan's grace, Gurudev's blessings on all the Yajmans, their families and everyone present. May Bhagwan bless us with this vivek of Prakriti and Purusha. May we come to realize the Purusha Tattva in us, free from the cycle of birth and death, and come to realize infinite bliss. Om Tat Sat.
जय भगवत गीते मैया जय भगवत गीते हरिः कमल विहारिणि सुंदर सुपुनीते ओम जय भगवत गीते कर्म सुमर्म प्रकाशिनी कामासक्ति हरा तत्त्वज्ञानविकासिनी विद्या ब्रह्मपरा। ॐ जय भगवद्गीते। निश्चलभक्तिविधायिनि निर्मलमलहारी शरणरहस्यप्रदायिनि सबविधि सुखकारी। ॐ जय भगवद्गीते। रागद्वेषविदारिणि कारिणि मोद सदा भवभयहारिणि तारिणि परमानन्दप्रदा। ॐ जय भगवद्गीते। आसुरभावविनाशिनि नाशिनि तमरजनी दैवी सद्गुणदायिनि हरिरसिका सजनी। ॐ जय भगवद्गीते। समता त्याग सिखावनी हरिमुख की बानी सकल शास्त्र की स्वामिनी श्रुतियों की रानी। ॐ जय भगवद्गीते। दया सुधा बरसावनी मातृकृपा कीजय हरिपद प्रेम दान कर अपनो कर लीजे। ॐ जय भगवद्गीते। ॐ जय भगवद्गीते।
न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चंद्र तारकं नेमा विद्युतो भाति कुतोम्य अग्निः तमेव भान्तम् अनुभाति सर्वं तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति। बोलो सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। श्री कृष्ण की जय। श्री कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जय। ओम पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।